What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another exclusive interview on Scott Scoop with PW Ponderings. My name is Scott Mitchell, and I am joined today by Koda Hernandez, the Freelance Legacy Champion, one of my personal favorites of the Midwest. He's making a name for himself all over. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but I cannot wait to see you at House of Glory uh, at the Puerto Rican weekend presented by Mike Santana. But before we kind of get up to that, how are you doing today, Koda?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the shout out. I appreciate the love you just showed, man. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride so far, man. I'm really enjoying it, and my body's killing me, but my spirit's still good, so I'm feeling good, man.
That's awesome, and it's I can imagine the toll it takes on you because I know you said your body is killing you, but like when sometimes when people decide to get into wrestling, they see the fame, they see the fortune, they're like they don't really always think about the pain that they might be in. But describe that for you, like when you first decided to become a professional wrestler and that you this is what you wanted to do with your life.
Yeah, man. So like I've grown up watching it my whole life. My dad watched it, my grandpa watched it, so in turn I started watching it. Um, so I mean, ever since I was a kid, I always thought it was really, really great. The thing that made me realize that I could do this is my dad actually had a friend who was a backyard wrestler who started up a school, and for my birthday, my dad's like, "Hey, you can go in there and like test the ring out, whatever." They like had me test the ring out. I was probably like 12 at the time. So I went in there, ran the ropes, bumped, and then I was like, "Oh man, 12!" Like, "Oh, I fucking." It didn't hurt as bad because like you're 12, so you feel the sugar and adrenaline. So I hop right back up, and then as soon as I got in the ring that first time, I just knew it. Like I wanted to be here, and like I want to pursue as much as possible.
So did you like get into like the televised promotions as well, or was it really just your dad's friend shows and stuff like that?
No, so my dad had a backyard friend, but like he watched WWE, WCW, all the time as like a kid with my grandpa, and my grandpa watched like the other things like my grandpa's from Puerto Rico, so he watched a lot of, like the Puerto Rican companies, a lot of, like the CMLL, AAA, all that stuff. But I've watched WWE since I was a kid. I was a huge TNA mark as a kid. I loved TNA so much with the six-sided ring. WCW wasn't around, but like my dad had DVDs of like ECW, the old ECW. So like I'd watch all that. I'd be like, why does Ray look so much smaller than he does now? I think it's like current stuff. Not really, it's like 20 years in the past, but like, yeah, man, I've always been everything televised, indie, all that stuff, man.
And when it comes to who you wanted to base your style off of, I guess, like, did you have any inspirations that you really kind of looked at and you were like, I want to be like this person and I want to kind of base my style off of them?
Oh, absolutely. If you watch any match of mine, the Eddie influence is right there for you. Like it's just, I mean, he's right there. Yeah, like
I love it.
that's my number one right there. Eddie Guerrero's the absolute man to me, the greatest of all time. And then obviously, being a TNA mark, like Homicide was there for me, and I fell in love with Homicide so much, man, because he just brought this energy. I thought LAX was the coolest tag team in the world. I wanted to see them versus the Mexicools so much when I was a kid. So like Homicide, and now as I grew up a little bit and I started getting into the business, I found Eddie Kingston, and then Eddie Kingston's promos just spoke to me, and the way like the passion he brought with his promos, and the way he fought in the ring, and the style he came with, like just that grit. Just honestly, just probably he's my favorite current wrestler right now is Eddie Kingston, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the ones that like I really just enjoy watching because he I don't know, I don't want to say it doesn't look real when a lot of other people do it, but when
Mm-hmm.
he does things, it just looks like he makes it look so believable. Like,
It's to me, it's like I was telling someone about it because like I'm like we're talking about like the best, and they're like, "Oh, your favorite?" They're like, "Your favorite wrestler is Eddie Kingston." Like, yeah, my favorite wrestler is Eddie Kingston. I didn't say he's the best in the world. My
yeah,
favorite wrestler, and like I explained, like the reason being is he makes me feel something when I watch him. Like I like feel as I'm watching him, I feel like the spirit is doing. I feel that's like he makes you feel a certain type of way when you watch him. Like you said, like you maybe not in the ring is the most technically sound, but like you're like watching, like why do I just like gravitate towards this for some weird reason?
yeah, it's because I remember watching his wars with like John Moxley, Claudio
Mm-hmm.
on AEW. And this is only recently. He's been doing this
Yeah.
for years,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just. it's just the believability aspect of it. And I think that's so important. And sometimes it is kind of lost in today's generation. Um, because, the believability watching Eddie Kingston fight, you don't think you're watching a wrestling match. You think you're watching someone go in there and want to like beat the hell out of somebody else.
No, absolutely. Because like me being someone from Chicago, obviously I'm a huge CM Punk fan as well. But like when Punk and Eddie were doing those promos, I'm like, I'm Team Eddie on this one. Like
Yeah.
he's confirming all the stories we've heard about how Punk was back in the day. And when they had the match, it was just like this slugfest. Like everything looked like it kind of hurt both people as they're doing it. And like I remember like the opening thing was just the spinning back fist and Eddie just yelling his mind off. And I was like,
Yeah.
this guy's crazy, but it's good, and it made me like maybe they're laying in like a little bit more than they usually would to other people in this one.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you did speak about how you are from Chicago, and I do. I live in New York, so I live in the
Yes.
Northeast. I really do love seeing the Midwest wrestling scene because sometimes, like, I think it sometimes gets lost because the Northeast wrestling scene is crazy. The West, not Northwest. I know Northwest is still like having some
Yeah.
not the best times, but like Amir, I was interviewing Amira a while back, and she said, we have a lot of great talent up in the Northwest, and unfortunately, there's not a ton of promotions up there. But like you go to California, like Prestige is there, and
Yeah,
so many.
everything's there in the West Coast side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I need to ask you though, like about the wrestling scene in the Midwest. How is it, and how do you like wrestling in Chicago, where you are from?
It's super great. I think the Chicagoland area moves a little bit oversaturated wrestling, not in like a bad way, but like any weekend, any day, there might be two shows happening on the same day because there's so many companies here. Like I got to name like CSW, Freelance, AAW, Galley Wrestling, Second Wrestling. Like that's five companies I can name off the top of my head that run in Chicago. So like every weekend there might be something happening here, which is super cool because it always works to go around. But like my main thing is like trying to get out of just being in the Chicagoland area. Like I love working here; it's great. But, like I want to get like starting to work in Indiana a little bit, go into Ohio more often, trying to tap into the Iowa scene. And after being done with the Midwest, you move on to like the East Coast, the West Coast, wherever else you want to go. But I think the Midwest is kind of slept on in some certain ways because I think you see companies like Pro Wrestling Revolver, and you don't really realize they're in Ohio and Iowa base. You just know like it's a huge name, and like, but like that's all around. Then you got like AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling, which is in Ohio as well. That I've worked for as well. That are super dope. So it's like you have these companies that people don't even realize are in the Midwest. They just know they're big names, but have no idea where they're from. So like, I think we're almost slept down a little bit when it comes to like talked about wrestling scenes.
Oh yeah, you guys definitely are, and I love Midwest wrestling, but you guys are very slept on. So anyone watching this, please check out Freelance, check out any of the promotions that Koda just named, because genuinely amazing stuff out there, amazing stuff with Freelance. And I do want to speak specifically about Freelance. How important is that promotion to you?
So it's crazy to even say because like I remember trying to explain it to Matt Nixon, like the owner of Freelance, but like when I was 14, I tried to sneak into one of their shows because it was Ali versus Isaiah Velasquez 2 for the title, and I was such a Freelance mark. Like when they started, I was such because my dad took me to the Chicagoland Indies, so like had been in touch with the scene the whole time. So like when I saw Isaiah Velasquez versus Ali, I knew who they both were already. I was like, I need to see this match because I missed the first one. But like, it was a 21 and over show, so I couldn't get into the bar or the venue they were in at the time. But like, I tried to sneak in. So, man, working for them's like it's like 14-year-old Coda. It means the world.
Yeah, and you kind of spoke about it, and Freelance, I would say, is one of the best promotions in the Midwest in Chicago. Chicago has a ton of great wrestling, like you said earlier. CSW, AIW, so many great promotions are out there. But I did want to ask, you not only represent Freelance Wrestling as a whole, but you also represent Freelance Wrestling as the Legacy Champion. How important is that to you to not only represent the company, but be given that faith in you that you can be a champion and you can be a flag bearer there?
Yeah, man, I think like everyone says like the corny answer, like it's great to represent it, whatever it is. But like for me, it just makes me realize that like they gave you this ball. Now's not the time to let off the let off the gas pedal. Like you have to perform, you have to go out there, you have to give it your all. Like I can't get lazy or complacent with stuff. Like I need to make stuff mean things. Like to me, it just gives me that extra chip on my shoulder that maybe I need to think harder about whatever I do to make sure it means more in the long run. Like the whole like long standing feud I just had with Saban Gage at Freelance. Like everything I did, trying to make it mean something. Like from like the storyline perspective to the matches to the finishes, like just making sure that at the end I can go, I did all this for this payoff to make this mean more. So like when this title goes to someone else, it now is almost elevated to a certain level. So like I just want to make sure I don't ever devalue something. I just elevate it. So when the next person gets it, it just means more at that point.
That's really commendable and really respectable for sure, because you always see sometimes even the big companies. I won't name names, but there was a couple not too long ago that had their top title on somebody who just could not really wrestle that well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like I said, I won't name names. They're a national company, so you could guess.
Mm-hmm.
They're also not that popular. But the thing is that just having that instinct about you and having that will to win and the power, the willpower, I should say, to win and be the best. Like, how has that helped you so far in your career?
I mean, to me, it's like if you don't have a chip on your shoulder, or you don't want to perform, or you don't want to be the best, or you don't want to go out there and kill it every night, like at some point you can just look in the mirror and say, like, it's something wrong with me. Because, like, at the end of the day, I think this is the greatest business in the world to be in. Like, yes, we wake up with bruises and scars, and we wake up with like aches and pain, but like we wear those as badges of honor, in my opinion. Like, there's nowhere I'd rather be than in a squared circle and being able to perform for life. And like the fans in general, like they're giving up their hard-earned money. Like to me, like when I like $20 is like an hour worth of work at my shoot, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like these people are working hours throughout days just to pay till they have enough money to pay for a ticket to come see you perform. So like at the end of the day, you have to like think about that and like you have to go out there and just want to perform for not only the crowd, like the people, the promoter, but like yourself, like you owe it to yourself. You went through all this training. You went through all this like bullshit, all like this, like you said, this is like scumbags and wrestling, all that stuff. You went through all that, and then you're just gonna give up on yourself and kind of just half-ass it. Like, I find no point in that. Just go out there and actually give it your best. And like, it may suck. Like I've had stinkers before, and shit sucks. But like at the end of the day, I can go out there and be like, I didn't get lazy or complacent. I kept, I went full force. Like that's just the art to it. I think, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And like I said, give you a lot of credit, a lot of respect for that.
Mm.
And the answer previous to that one, you did bring up your rivalry with Saban Gage. And I'd be
Uh,
remiss if I didn't bring that up, because that was a freaking insane, amazing rivalry that you guys put on together. And now you guys are teammates too, which
yeah,
is the
yeah.
funniest part about it. But tell me, how did that rivalry come about? And what was it like working with him?
So it's kind of hilarious. Me and Saban Gage are actually cousins.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. We didn't find out till already in wrestling. Um, we went to like some family party and he was there and I knew who he was, but he hadn't been at Freelance yet. He was still training. So I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm here with my mom. What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm here with my mom." And then like we realized that our moms like are cousins. So then I was like, "Oh, so now we're related." That's kind of wild to think of. So then he came to Freelance and then we started training and I've always had respect for Saban. I thought he was always great, and like I felt like he was always just like kind of looked at as like a fall guy to some people, and I just felt like he could be more. Like obviously being in the ring with him, tagging with him, working with him other places, I know how good he was in ring. So like I just knew he had this mean streak that people hadn't brought out of him yet, and like I knew I was the guy to almost get out of him because unfortunately I have this really really bad habit of being really really intense in the ring, and like you almost have to match the intensity to be able to kind of I don't want to say hang with me, but to like to visibly see that you can also be at that same level. And like man, it was from our normal singles contest to the ending of the chain match. You can just see it every show just get higher and higher to reach a breaking point, which is a chain match, which is kind of what I was looking for. Is just like we give the fans every month, just it builds to something that they obviously know is going to have like a huge payoff to it. So the way I looked at it is like just build it, just make people believe in it and want to see it happen.
And say your rivalry with Saving Gage was just a prime example of how good you truly are as well. And I gotta throw that out there because to everyone who's watching who might not really know you or who might not really follow the Midwest wrestling scene, because we got a lot of Northeast wrestling scene fans up here. Uh, what is what's the most important thing that they should know about you, and what are some of your like favorite matches? I guess.
Man, to me, man, I'm a super like just appreciative guy of anyone who's bought tickets to come see a show, of anyone who's bought merch for me, and it was like my post, shared it, or done anything. I'm super appreciative to anyone who showed any support in any type of way. Like I know fans most of the time think like buying merch and like you liking my Instagram pictures, you sharing it, like that means the world to me as well. Because like for whatever reason, I'm a fan of mine. Like and there's like nothing more like that you could do for me besides just be a fan of me and appreciate my work. And like that's the thing. Like for me, like I'm very just loyal to my fans as well. That's why I don't want to be like lazy when it comes into the ring. Like if you come to see me, you're gonna get the full Koda experience. Like I'm not gonna go out there and like try to be someone I'm not. I obviously know my limitations, and I mean obviously one of my favorite matches ever was being able to wrestle Chavo Guerrero. Like just one of my all-time heroes. Like someone who's part of the Guerrero family. Obviously Eddie, his uncle, is my favorite wrestler of all time, but him in general, I was also a fan of like his run as cruiserweight champ, their run as tag champs. Like Chavo's done his own stuff in his career. I'm really appreciative. So wrestling him to me was just absolutely a dream. And I also got to wrestle Homicide, who just retired recently. Happy retirement to him, man. And being able to wrestle him before he retired is something I didn't think I was going to be able to do, and I got it. And like he was the best guy ever, man. He was super fucking cool.
So there's a couple matches there that you did bring up that I did want to talk about a little bit.
Uh-huh.
With the loss to Chavo Guerrero.
Okay.
Absolute legend, man.
Yeah.
Amazing wrestler. Literally a living legend. What was it like working with him?
Man, the funniest thing is the boys here in Chicago, they have a joke where we go out anytime to eat after a show, they'll tell the waitress it's my birthday, and then they'll come out, they'll bring a birthday cake, and they'll sing to me. So I saw Chavo arrive to the building, and like I was freaking out because I was in the ring and he was going on the balcony to go put his stuff away. But it's almost like I saw like this glow around him, and then he finally came down. He saw me, and we came and shook hands. I go, "Hey, nice to meet you. My name's Koda." He goes, "Oh, happy birthday, man!" And like one of the boys had told him it's my birthday today, so that he told me happy birthday. I think it was my birthday, and it was like a good icebreaker. And then from there, man, we talked about him working on the Iron Claw and him being able to work on other projects for wrestling. And then like literally an hour into the conversation, we finally go, "Hey, how do you want to put together this match?" And then I just went, "I would really love to take the Gory Bomb." He's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I'd love to take the Gory Bomb from you." He goes, "Okay." He goes, maybe that's the finish." He goes, "Or maybe the frog." I go, "I would take either one." And then like literally 5 minutes later, he goes, "You want to reverse the Gory Bomb?" I was like, "If you would let me, I would love to." But then yeah, man, he's super just easy to put stuff together with, man. I mean, he caught a suicide dive for me, which is like for someone his age to be like, "Yeah, I'll catch that," is like insane to me. Man, he was there for me for everything. He gave me great offense. He took a lot of my moves, and he didn't phone it in. He definitely came out to perform, and I was really appreciative of him for that.
Yeah, 100%. And Chavo is someone that I really think that didn't always get the respect he deserved, like in the big companies, because uh, Eddie was like always the big name, like
Yep.
when you see the two. But Chavo, like a lot of people need to remember, he could go still. Yeah.
He's also a great guy. Like
Yeah.
when I talk, he's a great guy. Like he's not one of those guys that like are like assholes. Like he's honestly a great humble guy, and like man, I could not like had a better experience with him honestly.
Yeah, and I also wanted to speak a little bit about your match with Homicide, which I know you said you were a fan of Homicide growing up in TNA.
Yeah.
How awesome was that for you?
It's crazy to think because like I hear people talk about like seeing like Michael Jordan for instance, they all say like they have a glow to them, and like legit like he walked in, like, I just, like, saw this aura around them, and, like, I did not want to speak to him because I was so nervous, but, like, we sat, like, literally, they forced me to sit down next to him, and then we just started talking about stuff that wasn't wrestling related, like, he started telling me about the train ride he had to take to the airport, then we started talking about music, and then the Yankees, and then baseball, and then we just started shooting shit, and then we finally got to, he's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I mean, I would really love to take a country through the door. He's like, all right, that's cool. He's like, then he goes, do you want to put me through a door? I'm like, if you would go through a door, I would love to do it, man. But, like, he was super giving with himself, man. Like, I don't expect any of these guys at these age to be cool with going through a door. But, like, he's like, I'll go through one if you go through one. I was like, I'll go through one. I have no problem taking anything from door from you. So, the same thing with him, man. Super cool, super nice guy, hilarious. And honestly, like, for both of them, I came out of that match just understanding wrestling in a better way because they're not the guys who are like, no to your idea. They're like, how about we do this instead? And it leads to this later. It's like, okay, now I see your vision. Now I see why you do what you do. And man, I mean, the coolest thing for me is like he did the fork spot to me, which I was like a huge mark for.
Yeah, and Homicide is another one. I don't want to say, like, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but he's another one who could go and sometimes doesn't always get the respect like he deserves on the mainstream. Because I know he was a TNA legend. I know he's not really, they haven't really spoke about him in ages, but still a legend, I would say.
TNA legend, man, Ring of Honor legend. People don't understand. He was there during like the first start of Ring of Honor. I mean,
Yeah.
You watch when he beat Bryan Danielson for the title, man. That crowd goes insane. And like, I mean, everyone from like New York kind of gives him the respect because he's like the original one from New York. Like I know Eddie Kingston talks about like obviously Mike Santana, a lot of the Ortiz. They all talk about how he's like the godfather of the New York scene. Like they at least I'm happy the actual city he's from gives him his flowers because he deserves them.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And you mentioned Mike Santana. He was someone you got to work with as a legacy champion. What was it like working with someone of his caliber, another very influential and fantastic wrestler from Latino heritage, I guess?
Yeah, man. It's like the thing with him is like you like wrestling Chavo and Homicide, you kind of don't expect what they want to do. But Mike Santana, he's in his prime, so he's ready to go. So like that's like I'm turning up the cardio in the gym, like I'm turning up lifting weights in the gym, like my in ring stuff, like I'm turning up, making sure like I'm ready for whatever we have going on. But crazy thing is like the day he was supposed to fly in, there was a storm in Chicago that literally canceled like 6 flights.
Oh,
So like his first 2 flights that we did, he got canceled. So like it was coming to about like I want to say like 3 o'clock our time, and I was just like, they like promoter called me like, hey, his flights keep canceling. I was like, all right, it's not gonna happen. Like it's probably one of those things like it's not gonna happen. Like it's meant not to happen because obviously the universe saying like with the rain or thing, it's not supposed to happen. And then they got another flight, and it went out, and he got here like around I think like 6, and showtime was 7. So that we got to the venue around like 6:45. I had to go pick him up from the airport. We did again on the way from the airport. Nothing about wrestling, just music, New York, Puerto Rican food. We talked about what's better, Chicago Puerto Rican food or New York Puerto Rican food. And then we got to the venue. We chilled out for a little bit. Then we finally put together the match. But with him, it's like I was ready to like we're going on this one. Like no matter what, like it's gonna be a nonstop fight with him. And he was super. Man, he was super appreciative of being able to have the match as well because I didn't know he wanted it so like he also wanted to have the match, and he was super nice in the ring. He obviously gave me a shout out after the match, and in the back he gave me pointers, told me put me over to myself to kind of tell me how satisfied he was with the match, and man him in the ring is like another level of intensity as well, and like it's either you match him or he's just gonna eat you alive. And like I feel like he elevated me in such a way with the way he was working. I was like in the ring like, oh, I need to turn up even more now.
Santana is another wrestler I would throw in with the Eddie Kingston stuff, like with the whole believability, like in the ring, like he'll mess you up if like you're not on his level. And
No man, yeah. And the thing is like I just know the thing the best about this guy, like I just know how much he loves like the business as well. And
yeah,
like that's why he is the way he is, because like he just loves it so much that he he wants the audience to feel something. Like as soon as he wants the audience to feel something like he felt.
And it looks like he might be next in line to get the TNA World Championship from Trick Williams, hopefully.
I hope so. Man, I think he deserves it, man. After all he's like been through, he's talked about, man. To see where he was like 3 years ago when he first injured his knee to now, man, I'm super happy to see him at the level he's at. He obviously found what he was looking for, man, and I couldn't be more happy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, and you're going to be working with him again. I don't know if you'll be working with him in a match, but June 7th. I'm sorry.
Yes.
House of Glory. Mike Santana presents Puerto Rican Weekend. You're obviously going to be on the show. How excited are you?
Man, not only does it mean a lot because it's House of Glory, but man, it's Puerto Rican Weekend, and it's presented by a guy who I respect highly, Mike Santana. But the thing is, like, I also think of is like he didn't have to say yes to me. Like I saw him announce it, and I gave it like 2 days, and I asked him like, "Hey man," because he also wrestled Saban Gage. I go, "Hey man, me and Saban are a tag team, and we would love to come up for Puerto Rican Weekend to work for you, man. Like I would really like, obviously I know if you have stuff booked already, you have card, like it is what it is. But like I just want to throw my hat," and he just goes, "Yeah, man, I'd love to have you." He's like, "Give me a day or two just to confirm whatever's up." And he asked us if we would be available and if we're cool for travel. I told him absolutely, and he did it, man. So now I feel like I owe him a great performance. So like now it's not just like I owe House of Glory performance, but I owe this guy who gave me an opportunity on his show to be able to work for him and the company House of Glory in New York, which is the first time I'll be wrestling in New York, which is really also fucking cool. So like now I have like this fire to do all this for essentially to prove him right for picking us for this opportunity.
Yeah, and I have to ask you too. I don't want to get like too deep, but how important is it to you to see this Puerto Rican Weekend show and to see like had your heritage and Latino heritage as a whole being put on kind of a pedestal as it should be, because Mike Santana is a beast and I love his mind behind everything. But just how important is that to you?
Man, to me, like everything, like culture is everything. To me, right? Like I respect every culture, respect anything that has to do with a culture. Like if it's your culture, I respect it. Like I have a love for mine, obviously, but like no matter what it is, like every culture deserves to be represented in whatever they want to be represented in. And when I see stuff like this, like a whole thing dedicated to like a place that people are from or something that people represent or something they're born of, like it just means everything to me, because not only are you like showing the obviously like Puerto Rican Weekend, but like there's people who aren't Puerto Rican there, and then they're gonna be able to experience this culture for that. So it's just giving exposure to whatever it is, like like Mexican culture, for instance. Like that's also like something big. Obviously, I'm also Mexican. I'm also Guatemalan, so Guatemalan culture as well. Like representation's everything, man. And like sometimes it's missed in wrestling, and sometimes people scream about it and need to make it known. But like when you see representation, no matter what it is, that's it's great. And like I couldn't be more happy to go out with my cousin, obviously, film family blood related, to a city I've never been to, New York, which I know is also highly populated by Puerto Ricans, like Chicago is. And not only represent like Chicago, but represent obviously our people. And for a guy like Mike Santana, I mean, like for him being able to do this for a weekend, it just means everything. Because I mean, I'm a '01 baby, so I wasn't around like the '90s or '80s, but I'm almost assuming we didn't see this type of representation back then. So being able to see it now, and it's not some stereotypical thing, it's a show for Puerto Ricans, run by Puerto Ricans. So that's like the coolest thing I can think of.
And something I love about you too is when I first saw your matches, you would come out to the ring with a Mexican flag, I believe it was.
I would come out with my three flags,
you froze a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
You good?
Back now?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Sorry.
I would come out with the Mexican flag, the Puerto Rican flag, and Guatemalan flag, which is my three my three heritage.
Yeah, so I did want to ask you too. How important is your heritage to you that you did come out to the ring with those flags in your back pocket and around your neck, and how important is it to you to show the fans watching like this is who I am?
To me, it was almost like obviously, like, when I look at you can probably guess that I'm Hispanic in any type of way. But at the same time, like, people would just be like, "Oh, he's Mexican," but like, they wouldn't think of anything else. But like, to be able to show off, like, I am Mexican, but also Puerto Rican, also Guatemalan. So people now go understand, like, "Hey, what's that flag there? Oh, that's the Puerto Rican flag, it's Guatemalan flag. Where's that at?" And they Google it. Like, now people are becoming more educated in things, right? They go, "Oh, it's right under Mexico." It's like, yeah, it's another whole thing afterwards. It's its own country, and like that educates people to go into like representation. To me is like exposing it to other people who aren't in the know of it, and like now they're like, "Oh man, that guy's a really really great Hispanic wrestler." No matter what it is, like that's what it is, man. Making people educate on whatever it is you're trying to represent. That's what it means to me. It's just opening up a more to like a broader audience.
I love that, and I give you a lot of respect for everything that you've done in your career so far.
I appreciate it.
Whether it be freelance, any other promotion that you were at, House of Glory. I know you've been here before. I know it's coming up. I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
you here again.
Yeah.
But looking ahead for you, you have. I'm not downplaying any other of your matches, right? But I think this might be your biggest match yet on June 27th against
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali for the Legacy Championship.
Mhm.
Does what's your mindset heading into that match, and how does it feel knowing that you will be going one-on-one with, I would say, one of the biggest legends in Chicago?
Yeah, man. He's one of the ones who made it out, who actually made it. And we have a lot of good wrestlers from Chicago, but sometimes we produce so many wrestlers, there's so many misses sometimes, I don't say misses, but people who just weren't able to get to the level where he obviously made it. And being able to work with him on obviously he has a school currently, the Chicago Wrestling Center, being able to work with him there and being able to be with him like weekly and learn his mind, I just know how he operates, and I know how great of a guy he is, and obviously I get to see it firsthand how great he is in ring. It's like that. All being said, like it's almost like mentor. I don't say mentor because that's what everyone says, like mentor student deal, but like it's someone I respect, and like I have the utmost respect to him to make sure I show up there in great shape with a great mindset, ready to listen, and we're gonna put on a great performance. Like that's what I owe to him.
Absolutely, and that match is going to be amazing. I don't know if it's main eventing. I'm not sure about that. It should main
I hope
event.
so. I hope so to both.
That absolutely should be the main event. That match is going to be outstanding. I cannot wait for that match. But I need to ask you, looking ahead for you, what is next? Do you have any future goals or future opponents that you really want to share the ring with?
I just got to ask this question, man, and it's super, super hard because it's almost like I wrestled the people I want to wrestle already. I mean, Eddie Kingston's obviously on the list. That's obviously someone I really, really want to work. I would love to work Ryan Keefe again. I worked him once, but not when I was like fully myself. So I would love to work him again. I would really, really love that. I would really, really love to get Latinos Most Wanted versus the Hardy Boys and against the Mexicools. I think that would be super, super fun. Um, and I would love to bring later down the line Latinos Most Wanted to Freelance. I feel like with the Freelance audience, they haven't seen it. They've only seen us wrestle each other, but I feel like if they got to see them tag, it would be a different experience for them, and they would really, really get behind us.
Absolutely, and all those matches sound great. I cannot wait, truly, as a fan of yours first, because that's why I asked you to be on the show, and I'm very grateful you said yes.
Of course,
Uh,
thank you, man.
is there any final message that you can leave to anyone watching this or reading this, and where they can follow you and support you?
You mean like my final message to people would be like, um, I think a lot of times people get lost in like the world of like darkness and like kind of like they're like looking at the negatives, and sometimes I like to like for wrestling for instance, people get banged up, bruised up, and they kind of lose track of why they did this, right? And a lot of it goes back to like the kid they were back then is what drove them on to become a wrestler. Like never lose your inner child to me, because like that's what got you here. Like you did all this to make your younger self happy, and like I wouldn't forget that no matter what. Like I know shit gets hard and people like get down on themselves, but at the end of the day, like you have 5-year-old you who would love to be 24-year-old you, because 24-year-old you is living the dream that 5-year-old you want to. And like no matter what, at the end of the day, like the sun will rise and you'll be back up on your feet. It's like never lose track of like progressing and bettering yourself, and no matter what it is, finding something you appreciate and love in the world. Like, just don't get lost in the negativity, because if you do, you'll find negativity more than you'll find positivity. But I feel like positivity will affect you better than any negative thing will, in my opinion.
It's so easy to find negativity now. All you got to do is put on the news or put on something.
That's what I think, and like that's the one thing I think. Like, people need to find something that makes them happy, like like painting, for instance, music, even if it's just the gym, like just anything that gets you out of this negative headspace. For just even like that's why I think we all gravitate towards wrestling, because for 2 hours or 3 hours we just watched these characters on screen, and we didn't even know the real world was a thing at the time. We were just watching this made up world that took us away from everything, and like that's the inner child I never want to lose. At the end of the day, that kid would kill to be where I'm at right now.
100%. And is there any way that people can support you or follow you or buy your merch or anything really along those lines?
Yeah, Koda Hernandez on IG, Koda Hernandez 01 on X. Pro Wrestling Tees is Koda Hernandez as well. We have I have a podcast with two close friends of mine here in Chicago, Alfonso Gonzalez and Robert Ego Anthony. It's called Potty with Ego. We have that listed if you want to give it a listen to Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast at. We should be set up a Patreon soon as well. And then if you guys just want to watch, I'm on IWTV. If you guys are in Chicago, come out to a freelance show, man. It'll be super fun. And yeah, man, it's the best way to support me, man. Just watch my art and hopefully enjoy it. And if you don't, it's all good, man. It's support no matter what.
Perfectly said. And I'll make sure to include all your socials down below too, and link for him for anyone watching. Go follow Koda, support him in any way. It's genuinely, he's one of the best in the Midwest. He's one of the best on the indie scene today. And thank you so much, Koda, for coming on the show. It was a complete pleasure and honor to work with you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you as well, man. Same here, brother.
Thank you.